Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into James chapter 1. We're looking at it as, well, a really practical guide for living wisely, faithfully in the real world.
Yeah, it really cuts through a lot of theory, doesn't it? Straight into like how to handle things.
Exactly. Direct insights for challenges, understanding, action.
And James, he starts strong. Right away, he tells you to consider it pure joy when you face trials.
Which sounds counterintuitive, maybe. Pure joy during hard times.
Right, but it's not about faking happiness. The insight is seeing it differently, a kind of reframe. These tests, these trials, they actually develop perseverance.
Okay, so it's seeing difficulty as productive, not just something to get through.
Exactly, he says perseverance needs to finish its work.
Ah, right, so that you become mature and complete, not lacking anything. So the struggle itself builds you up.
It directly links facing hardship with real growth, wholeness.
But what if those trials just make you feel lost, like you don't know what to do?
Well, James anticipates that. Right after trials, he says, if you lack wisdom, like how to handle this stuff, ask God.
Simple enough.
And he adds that God gives generously, without finding fault. No judgment in the asking.
But there's a condition, isn't there? A pretty important one.
Yes. Ask in faith. Don't doubt.
He uses that image. The person who doubts is like a wave.
Tossed by the wind, unstable, double-minded, he calls it.
And you can't expect to receive anything if you're like that. It really highlights how vital trust, that internal stability is.
Especially under pressure, yeah. He even contrasts that stability with how fleeting worldly things are. Wealth, status, like a wildflower gone fast.
True blessing isn't the stuff, it's enduring, persevering.
Right. And that stability is crucial because even with wisdom, we struggle internally. James tackles temptation next.
And he's very clear. Don't blame God.
Absolutely clear. God isn't tempted by evil, and he doesn't tempt anyone, period.
So, where does it come from then?
From inside us. He says you're tempted by his own evil desire. It drags you away, entices you.
That sounds quite active.
It is. And he lays out this devastating sequence. Desire leads to sin, and sin, fully grown, leads to death.
Wow, that's a stark picture of where unchecked desire can lead.
It is, but then he immediately balances it, reminding us that every good gift, everything good, comes from God above.
The unchanging God who gave us new life through the word of truth.
Exactly. Which brings us to the practicals of that new life.
What does it look like day to day? He gives some quick advice.
Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak.
And slow to become angry. That last one feels significant.
Very. He points out that human anger, our anger, doesn't produce the righteousness God desires. It actually blocks it.
So getting angry, even if we feel justified, doesn't actually help achieve God's purpose.
Apparently not. It's about receiving that word of truth humbly, letting it take root. He says to get rid of all moral filth.
Which sounds like more than just surface-level bad habits.
Yeah, like a deep clean. And accept the word planted in you, because that word can save you. But then comes maybe the core message of the whole chapter.
Yeah, the big one.
Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says.
The hearing versus doing. And that's where he uses the mirror analogy.
Right. It's such a great picture. You glance in the mirror, see yourself, maybe see something messy or out of place.
And then you walk away and immediately forget what you saw.
Exactly. You saw the truth, maybe even the need for change, but it has zero effect on your actions. You've deceived yourself into thinking just knowing is enough.
It's a real disconnect.
But the contrast is the person who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom.
That phrasing is interesting, law and freedom together.
Isn't it? We often think of law as restricting. But James says, this law, God's word put into action, actually leads to freedom. And that person continues in it, doesn't forget, but does it.
That person, he says, will be blessed in what they do, not just in knowing, but in the doing.
Yes. He requires focus, action, follow-through.
And finally, James ties all this doing to a very specific definition of religion, what he calls pure and faultless religion in God's sight.
And it's not just about religious talk or having strong opinions, especially if you can't control your tongue. He calls that worthless.
So what is it, though?
It's concrete. To look after orphans and widows in their distress.
Taking care of the vulnerable.
Yes. Tangible compassion. And to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Maintaining personal integrity.
So, wow. James 1 really pushes past just ideas or beliefs into, well, practical, lived-out faith.
Definitely.
We've seen that idea of reframing trials, needing wisdom from God and faith, understanding temptation's internal source, the call to listen more and control anger.
The crucial difference between hearing and doing, shown by the mirror.
And that really powerful definition of pure religion, practical care, and personal holiness.
It's a clear challenge.
Yeah.
Live it out. Don't just think about it.
So, based on this deep dive into James 1, here's something to think about. What does doing the word or living out pure religion look like for you in a concrete way this week?